All right, we are live. We are live. Uh, Let me get my comments on here. Welcome in you that are going to watch. For you that will watch later, you can post something in the comments. We are going to talk about a little bit about harvest time, which is something that I really don't talk a lot about. But if you're going to hang up, feel free to let me know who you are. My name is Antoine Chambers, as you can probably see on the screen from Antoine Chambers Consulting. And today, well, before I say that, a couple of things that I focus on is ministry, marketing, uh, music, manhood, and then also mentorship. So on my little screen here, I have four things, but it's really marketing, music, ministry, manhood, and mentorship. Because I found myself mentoring a lot of people over the years and never saw myself as a mentor, but realized that like, yo, I've mentored a lot of people. I've mentored people that are older than me. I've mentored people that are younger than me. And like sometimes you don't know the greatness that's in you until somebody else shows it to you, or you don't realize who you are sometimes until you get that moment of like, wait, this is what I've done. So I want to talk about harvest. In harvest, I want to talk about it in a different perspective. I want to talk about it in a perspective of the time of harvest, the experience of harvest. And then what I need you to do is, if you're going to share the video, share the video. If you find something or hear something that you like, comment so that I can know if I'm hitting those points that you need, or if you have questions about something I've said or something isn't explained well, feel free to comment so that I know how I can be better to serve the people that watch these videos. So harvest time. So harvest time is oftentimes the grittiest time of the process. So we know, in part, depending on your experience, we know how farming works from the sense of like putting something in the ground, watering it, caring for it, and then it grows. But when I think of harvest time, I think of this lump amount of stuff, whether it's corn or whatever you are harvesting. And even if you're harvesting cotton or whatever those things are, it's like a process to pick that up. Like, so I think of harvest time like this, and many of you can probably get with this. I go to the grocery store and buy groceries. And when I'm in the grocery store, I'm thinking of everything that I need when I get home. So I'm buying whatever I need for that day or for that week. And then sometimes the cart gets really full. I put all this stuff in the cart, pay for it, get to the house. And then there's this moment where it's like, wait, the cart is full of food, or cart is full of stuff that I get from the store. Put this in the car. When I get home, now I have to take all of this stuff out, put it all into its respective places. And sometimes I don't feel like doing this. The grocery shopping part of it is sometimes the easy part. It's easy to go into the store sometimes, even if you have a list and be like, okay, I want this, I want this. You can even have an app that tells you which aisle to go down to get this. And for you to are just coming in, feel free to let me know that you're here. I'll review some of the stuff that I say as I go, as I see the numbers change. I'm streaming on 2 Facebook pages as well as YouTube, so the numbers are different and comments are coming in from different places. But anywho, so I'm talking seed time and harvest, or seed and harvest, and I'm using the example of the grocery store. You get your groceries, you go home. Once you go home, it's like, I don't know if you're like me, but I be putting like 5 and 6 bags on my arms because I only want to make one trip. And then I have to take that stuff in, take all of it out, and it feels so tedious because everything needs to have its place. And if you don't have a place for something, you have to do something different. And if stuff is in the way, you got to move stuff in the pantry and just make room for what's happening. And I'll get back to the make room for what's happening. But with the harvest time for me is like that moment where you are taking the groceries into the house. I've gotten my groceries, I got everything I need, but now I got to go through the work of bringing it in the house. And it's a lot of stuff, and I really don't feel like doing it. By the time you get from the grocery store, you'd be like, yo, let me just sit in this car. But when you get there, you have to take that stuff out. So for a lot of us, we have been spending time putting effort into areas that need the effort. We've been seeding, we've been putting, whether it's financial, whether it's our workout time, whether it's our prayer time, we've been putting seeds in the atmosphere. We've been putting seeds in our situations. And at some point, that harvest is going to come. But the weird thing is sometimes the harvest doesn't come as huge and as big as we expected, because sometimes we're not ready for the harvest, the bigger harvest, because we aren't ready to put the bags on our arms and pull those in to the house. So when we consider the harvest, some of us have been going through some really challenging times. But even in challenging times, in this season, I believe you can still put some seeds in the ground. You can put some seeds in the ground as far as studying, as reading, as taking your walk, as doing your fitness, as learning new skill sets, meeting new people virtually, or whatever your preferred method is. All of this stuff is seeds that you're putting in the ground. And sometimes it's hard to put seeds in the ground when you don't believe, if you don't believe that the seed that you're placing in the ground will produce something. So you place the seed of hope in the ground. So I have the seed of hope. I'm going to place it in the ground, but when I place it in the ground, I don't continue to nurture the hope that I need to be able to get where I'm going. So sometimes if you are putting seeds and effort into stuff, but you really don't believe in it, you won't nurture them into their full maturity, and therefore you won't reap a harvest that you desire to reap. So again, if you're going to hang out, let me know that you're here. Just type your name in the chat. I need to see your pretty names or whatever show up. So now in this harvest time, the harvest time still takes effort. The reason that the harvest time takes effort, even if we think of it in our natural sense, like I can put some effort in right here. I can put an investment. I can put a prayer in today. And then I just nurture it a little bit. I don't have to ever touch the seed again. I can pray, and then just once I do that full pray and put that seed in, I can then say, God, you remember my prayer on August 1st to do this. I'm just reminding you that I still want that. I still need that. And then the harvest time comes, and that's when you really do the next step of the work. Honestly, when it comes to farming, checking in on the crops, making sure that the bugs aren't eating up the crops and all of this type of stuff is important. In your life, the seeds that you've sown into people, into situations, into lifestyles, into hopes, into dreams, you have to continue to maintain those by nourishing them. Once you put your hope in the ground, the other day I mentioned not venting to everybody, because some people they are just vents. So where everything that you put into them goes out. With your seeds that you put in the ground, your hopes, your dreams, the stuff, you can't just put them in the ground and just expect the ground to do all the work. So here's a real life example. So if you want to harvest healthier living, your seed is making the choice to say, I want to eat better. So if you're making this decision, I want to live healthier. So living healthier is the harvest. The seed is first getting your mindset that says, I can no longer see myself as the way that I have been. So I need to change some things about me. So that's the seed. That first thought is the seed. So from there, each day you're nourishing that seed. So you say, hey, I want to live a healthier lifestyle. So the next day you place the seed, another seed of eating right, and you nourish it by reminding yourself that this seed is important, that this is the way it needs to go. So if you can think of an instance where you set a goal in your life, a harvest, a hope for harvest in your life, place that goal somewhere. And then say, well, what do I need to do over the next 6 months to make sure that I'm harvesting something? Hey, I want to start a new business. So in order to start the new business, I have to have a mindset that says, I'm going to get up and put effort in it every day. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I get where I'm going. And then you plan out each day. So you plan out your nurturing season. So we have the seed, the nurturing, and the harvest. So the harvest may be, hey, I got this business, but the truth of the harvest or the greatness of the harvest is now I'm receiving funding for it. or I'm receiving more customers for it. But now those new customers you got to maintain. So let's do a non-business example. Let's say that you are you have a church, you have a nonprofit. Shoot, even in your home, let's go to your home. In your home, you say, "Well, I want my home to be a place of peace." Maybe you're a single mother or a single father, or you're married, but there's chaos in the home. So your harvest is, I want peace in the home. I want to come into the home and feel a certain way. I want my family, my children to experience a new life. So the first seed is saying the thought. I have to transform my thinking so that my end result can happen. And I have to ask myself, what do I want it? How do I want it to turn out, or what do I expect to happen, or what would I like to happen? So you start with this seed of your thought. You place that in your home. You're saying, "Hey, I need my home to be a peaceful environment. When I come in, I don't want to fuss and fight with my wife. I don't want to fuss and fight with the kids. I don't want to come to a messy house." So you plant that seed that says, "Hey, at the end, I want this." So the first seed I'm going to plant is the seed of inspiration. So after my thought, I'm going to say, "Okay, I'm going to nourish this with saying, oh, hey, when I came home today, this was out of order. How can I help this be in order?" So you're nourishing the result that you want. So some seeds that you plant, you may not be able to nourish like a farmer would nourish his seeds, but you can nourish your seeds of hope. You can nourish your seeds of goals in planning. So let's say you have a goal of being more friendly. You want to be more friendly. Your end game is, "Hey, I want to be more friendly because I must first to have friends. I must first show myself friendly." So your first seed is, "I'm going to think about the fact that I desire to have quality friendships. I want to envision what these quality friendships look like. And then I'm going to nourish it each day. I'm going to call and check in on the friend, or I am going to read content or information about what does it mean to be a friend. Maybe I'm saying I want my love life to be more loving. So I'm going to plant that first seed of thought and say, "Hey, I'm not happy with the way the love is. So I'm going to first change me by planting this seed of my thought," because there's a quote that says, "We are a factory of seeds." And if you don't plant these seeds into your environment, you will never reap a harvest. And sometimes there's this fear in the harvest. The fear in the harvest is the fact that, like, what if this actually happens? Like, imagine you want to be a millionaire, or you want to be a billionaire. What would my life look like if I was actually that? Can I handle the harvest of a billionaire? There's a quote that says, or a song, "More money, more problems." Can you handle the harvest of increase? Can you handle having more money? Can you handle having more friends? Can you handle having more customers? Can you handle having more members at your church? Because if you don't know how to distribute the harvest and experience the harvest, it's not worth having. Because if you can't be a wise steward over the small harvest, why would God entrust you with a greater harvest? So we have to put ourselves in a position to say, "Hey, first, before I look to be the multimillionaire, before I look to have all of this clout, I must first be a great manager and steward over the seed." You are the factory of seeds. You are the beginning point to the harvest. And if you're here, feel free to let me know that you're here. So an overview of what I'm saying is, there's seed, there's nurturing, and then there's harvest. There's seed, there's nurturing, and then there's harvest. These three phases of your process have to be perfected over time. You have to put yourself in a position to one, you know that your seed will always start in your mind. You have to be able to say, "This seed is going to develop something, so I'm going to place the seed in. And then over the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next years, I'm going to harvest it." I was just on a phone call with a friend, and I was like, "Yo, I just realized that we have some money waiting for us. Hey, thanks, Monica. I realized I was like, yo, we have some money waiting for us, and this money is close to $2,000 that we're sitting on because we planted the seed, but and we nurtured it in some areas, but we didn't nurture it in every area. But now the harvest is here, so it's like, yo, we need to pull this $2,000 because we've been working and there's $2,000 sitting here that we haven't touched. So again, your process is this: I'm going to plant a seed of thought. I'm going to nourish those thoughts with positive vibes, with continued learning, with continued education, with continued understanding, and then at the end, I'm going to harvest this. And then my result that I saw when I saw this seed, when I had this stalk, is going to become something greater. Like today, like I have been from for years running from certain things. And I was like, I got a call last year to do some things, and I was like, I don't really want to do it, but okay, cool, I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna sow the seeds of my intellect, of my time into this thing. So today I get a call that says, hey, you need to come sign some paperwork for this new increase, this new harvest, because you nurtured some of these things. Now your harvest is here. So for you that are watching and you're ready for a harvest, you're mentally ready for a harvest, but you're not physically ready for a harvest. You're spiritually ready for a harvest, but you're not mentally ready for a harvest. So when the harvest comes, you have to be able to say, I'm about to go out here and pick this stuff up. I'm about to grab this stuff, because if the harvest is here, but you never pick up the harvest and you never take it into the house, your harvest may be sitting there, but you didn't do that part. So 3 phases of the harvest that I'm speaking about, or 3 phases to the harvest: the seed being planted, the processing and nurturing of that seed, and then the harvest. So I'm over my time for today. I try to make these 15 minutes, but if this helped you, feel free to share. Feel free to let somebody know. I try to be on every weekday to share the content that God has blessed me with you. If you want to link up with me as it relates to marketing, music, ministry, mentorship, or even manhood, hit me up. You can DM me and we can chat. But yes, don't fear the harvest, work the harvest, build to that point. Now, my time is up. So 3, 2, hopefully this